Time now. We're Rants and Raves. Not that we're not already doing that. Callie.
All right, so
Calm down.
while I'm all revved up, CBS has decided to eliminate the CBS evening news on the weekends, which I think is a sin and a shame. They say
eliminated completely?
They're eliminated. They laid off all the staffs. Now, what they're going to do, they say they're going to reframe. They've hired 2 new anchors from CBS-N, which, as we know, is the cable outlet. Not I don't know why they didn't keep the anchors they already had.
Jeff Glor
and
Jim Axelrod.
Yes, they got rid of both. They say they're still employed, but all those staffs, I don't know what happens to them. And I think it's weird. They say because they're preempted all the time, or they move around and people find it hard to see it all the time. Here's how I'm thinking about it. It's in the perfect twilight position on a Saturday and a Sunday.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You're out doing something else, you come in, you turn, what happened in the news? They haven't been paying attention. There you can watch it. I
Must
think
have been you and I were the only ones watching it because I watched it every weekend.
No, I think they had some. I think they had viewers, but I think they decided budgetary rise that this is and they say it's going to be a new look and whatever. So you know what that means.
But so it's going to be a show there, but it isn't a new show.
Well, that's what we're reframing.
By the way, that's
Emily.
their streaming thing, not cable. They don't have cable.
That's right. So they're streaming it. So they're reframing, Emily. So you just have to wait for the reframe.
Okay. All right, Dan.
I have a rave for a former student of mine, Marianne Georgentopoulos of BuzzFeed, who aggregated a post pulling together some information about the subject of my rant, Apple. Which I know it's I know. I'm sorry. It turns out that what's happening is that with the Apple Music streaming service, if you stop paying for it, stuff that you downloaded from the service magically disappears from your devices, which is fine. But because Apple's software, especially iTunes, is so bad, it also is removing music that you own from your own library. And there are people who have rare recordings from bootlegs and things like that. They're just disappearing. And I don't know whether there's even any way of getting them back. Apple has been a failure at getting into media. Their Apple News service is terrible. They really have to get their act together.
Thank goodness they're looking out for us by keeping us from searching the terrorist's cell phone.
There you go.
All right. Adam.
I have a rave for an article that's going to be published in the New York Times Magazine this Sunday. It's by a guy named David Samuels. It's a profile of Ben Rhodes, who is this somewhat obscure White House aide who is incredibly powerful. His mandate seems to be twofold. He is charged with disseminating the president's foreign policy worldview to the media and the rest of us. And he also seems to play a kind of a bizarrely big role in shaping the president's foreign policy decisions. I say bizarrely big because he has no foreign policy credentials to speak of. I shouldn't say he has none. He's done some work along the way, but he kind of lucked into where he is right now. I read the piece and thought it was really bizarre that this guy is as important as he is. He also has some really fascinating comments about cynically spinning the media on the Iran deal and other topics.
And what a bunch of lapdogs they are.
What a bunch of idiots we are. Yeah.
So
Them, worth a read.
not us.
No, absolutely.
Thanks for the preview. I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's a good piece, really good piece.
John.
Well, I have a rave, and you can go ahead and accuse me of being a bum kisser all you want. I'm going to do it anyway. It's for my bosses at WBZ Radio, Mark Hannon, the general manager, Peter Casey, the program manager, for the very sensitive and classy way they handled the news. That longtime traffic reporter, Scott Eck, 19 years on the traffic service that WBZ buys, has transitioned to Kristen Eck. There were a number of stories. You may have seen them on TV.
I was driving. I heard them in
print. There's a quote in the Globe from Peter Casey saying, Scott Eck was a great employee, and now so is Kristen Eck, and we welcome her with open arms.
Also, I thought the way he handled the fact that you had to treat it as news, because he said it was out of respect for the viewers, or the listeners. You can't just have the same person with the same voice, and he said she's going to have the same voice. You can't just do that to your listeners. You got to explain it to them, and he thought they needed to do that.
It was very, very well handled, and because management often gets sharp elbows on this panel, I thought this was a good opportunity to say job well done.
Well done. Agreed. All right, so I have kind of a mix, a rave, but then a rant. I have a rave for the piece that Mike Bodette did this week about these after-hour parties in our neighborhood and Somerville and that kind of thing, but where underage, drinking and drug use and all of that. But he used Northeastern students, and the students were in there taking this video, gathering the data. I mean, I'm not sure that was the best move for for Northeastern or Channel 5 for that matter. I mean, great report. Found it very no shocking surprise or anything like that, but I'm not sure that that's the situation you want to put student journalists in.
You keep looking at me.
That's because you work there.
But aren't they part of the investigative unit? I thought
They're still 17 years old.
Emily,
Okay.
did they go in under false pretenses?
Oh, no, they're not.
They went in as people who were partiers.
I thought they're 18 and 19 when you get
20,
to
21, 22.
Were they graduate students?
They're older.
Young.
They're
All right.
older undergrads.
All right, that's it for our show.
Listen.
Tell us what you think. Email us, tweet us, or leave a comment. We're always on at beatthepress.org.